Week 5, National Football League season is upon us. Big weekend, as always, in college football. And who better to talk to about the odds and the picks and who's going to win and who's going to lose than our good friend Vegas Runner, who joins the program from, of course, Las Vegas. Good morning, Vegas Runner. How is life in Vegas? Let's start there.
Never better. It's football season. Now we're a quarter of the way in the NFL, almost halfway through college football. And, of course, Major League Baseball playoffs kicked off last night on Tuesday. So definitely a good time for sports betting and Vegas in general.
Vegas Runner, we are one quarter through the NFL season. Who's winning so far, the Vegas books or the public?
The books are ahead, and rest assured, the greater the sample size, the better they do. And they have a built-in edge, and that edge is the VIG. So there's 4.5% edge toward the book has over the player. So long term, for out of every $100 that gets bet, they expect to make $4.50. Now we get to see those numbers because they have to report them, and you see how the books do month by month, and they win. I mean, at the end of the day, for them, it's about volume. If they could get volume and get people in the door and betting, they know they're going to turn a profit long term because of that built-in edge. Even though there's guys that win long-term, there's the majority, the 99%, that lose long-term. With that said, there are losing days, even losing weeks. And the game's changed where it's so corporate now, they sweat every penny, and that's why they're not willing to take the kind of bets that they were maybe even 15, 20 years ago when I first came to Vegas. Now it's every result matters to them, so they become a lot tighter, and they're not too happy when they have a losing day. But with that said, that they're definitely ahead in both NFL and college on the players. They're not ahead of the wise guys, even though the professional betting syndicates haven't crushed it. And historically, after about week now is when they really get to turn it on, and that's when the betting syndicates really do well, and most of the players start to do worse, believe it or not, because they've already formed their perceptions and drawn their conclusions, and the books are able to take advantage of that for sure.
Roger Weiland with you here on Big Board Sports on this Wednesday morning as we talk to the Vegas Runner. That is his name, by the way, Vegas Runner. Jets on the road, Vegas Runner at Pittsburgh this week. I'm a huge Steeler fan. Pitt -7. Who do you like?
Yeah, this is going to be wise guys against the public, that's for sure. The public's going to be all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. They look dominant on Sunday Night Football, and everyone knows Sunday, Monday night are the most watched games. And if there's one thing the books know is that the public remembers what they saw last. What they saw last is that Pittsburgh dominated, the Jets not so much. Sharp money is waiting for this line to go higher. 7's a key number, and they're hoping to get 7.5, if not greater. That's why you haven't seen a position taken by the Sharps. But I could promise you there is a buy order out on the New York Jets, and that's going to help the books because it's going to limit the exposure that they're going to have from the public on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, again, public's going to be on the Steelers. Wise guys are going to be on the Jets. I think there's value on the New York Jets. I think 7's a little bit too high for this number, and I think the wise guys got it right, and the public's going to unload on this game, but I think they're laying too many points.
Next up, we're going Buffalo Bills. Buffalo coming off 2 big wins. Zach Bye can't control himself, but they travel to play a tough Rams team. Rams are a field goal favorite. What's your pick here?
Yeah, what a surprising season for these L.A. Rams. Let's not forget, prior to the season, their season win total was 7.5, and it got bet down to 7 in a lot of places, and you had to lay 200 to win 100 to go under. So they were not expected to have a winning season, and here they are at 3-1. And more impressively, they've been underdogs in 3 of the 4 games. The only game they lost, they were actually a favorite in week 1 of the season against San Francisco. The reason teams like this, though, can keep covering is because there's no reason for Vegas to drastically make an adjustment. They're not getting burnt. Money's not coming in on the LA Rams, so they really have no reason to protect themselves. The balance, the money's going to come in balanced on this game. That's what the books expect. They're not going to get much exposure. The wise guys like the total, and they're going to bet this game over. They're hoping the line drops a little bit. It's sitting at 40 right now, and this is another game where I could tell you they're looking to to bet the game over. They think that the adjustment on the total is too low based on the results of last week, where the Rams, the final in that game, 30 points scored against Arizona, and the Buffalo game only had 16 points scored. So this line would have been a little bit higher if they scored a little more last week. It isn't, and because of that, you're going to see sharp money take advantage of that low total, that 40.
Only thing we've talked about all week, Vegas Runner, is Odell Beckham Jr. and his emotional problems. Who knows what we're in store for on Sunday night in Green Bay. But Green Bay laying 7.5 at home against the Giants on Sunday night. What's your play?
Yeah, and how bad did the Giants look on, Monday Night Football? And any book's going to tell you their week's going to come down to Sunday night and Monday night. And you can't make a living fading the public. The reason the books do is because they have a vig. The public wins about 50% of their games. They lose about 50% of their games. And long term, because you have to lay 11 to 10, they're going to lose. In this spot, Green Bay is going to get all the money. Books already know that, and they have to protect themselves against the exposure. And that's going to happen. You're going to see some sharp money come in on the New York Giants because this line does look a little bit higher than it truly should be. Personally, I like the under in this game. I think even if Green Bay covers, it's going to be lower scoring than that total reflects. It's a little bit inflated, and that's what you usually get on these standalone primetime games. The betting public, which trumps money in comparison to sharp money, so the books have to factor that into their line, love to bet overs. Because with an over, you have a shot to cash a ticket the entire 60 minutes. Even if it's 0-0 at halftime, you can still possibly cash that ticket. With an under bet, you could be done after the end of the second quarter. So public tends to bet overs, and the books know this, and they inflate those totals. And this is one of those lines where I think it's very inflated. I like the under in this game, and I think the total should go up, so there's no rush to bet it. And I think if it gets to that 49 range, it'll definitely be a buy order by different sharps. They'll be racing to go under this total.
And finally, what is your favorite play overall this Sunday?
I love the Denver Broncos over the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta coming off some big wins back-to-back weeks, the way they have it. And Denver, even though they're getting it done in one of the three undefeated teams in the NFL, not getting any respect at all. And this line, believe it or not, I think should be a lot higher than it is. And because of that, you're getting line value on Denver, and it's actually a good situation. I mean, they're coming off a rout of Tampa, and now they get Atlanta. They have no one big on deck but San Diego. It's a great spot for Denver, and I think it turns into a double-digit win into the second half, and it's going to blow up. I like Denver a lot in this spot, and I don't think the line's going to be going to matter. I don't see this one being close, not staying within a touchdown.
Hey, that's great stuff. Vegas Runner, we'll do this again. Thank you very much for coming on.
The pleasure's all mine, man. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Zach, for having me on. And anytime, just reach out. I'd love to come back.
And, of course, we'll have more on Week 5 in the NFL. Big show lined up tomorrow. Freddie Coleman joins us, as always, in the 10:30 slot. Another busy night of Major League Baseball playoffs and two teams that don't like each other, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. Who do we like? It's next on Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team.